Yume shipping, mouthwashing, has-been hotel, venture bros, the amazing digital circus. What did these communities have in common? Groomers. Now I'm being specific about one of these groomers. This is Ren, a 20-year-old adult from the American Midwest who may or may not know how to keep anything in his pants. This is the one person I believe shouldn't have internet access, and I'll elaborate soon. But before that, what's good, my brawsies? It's Beetle here, and this is my first long-form video, so yeah. But it's about somebody who I've been personally victimized by myself. Throughout this video, please keep in mind that I'm currently 16 years old, turning 17 at the time of recording. In October, specifically. A lot of events that happened in this video happened when I freshly had turned 15, up until around, I'd say December time of 2025. So, keep that in mind. Let me also preface that I've been groomed a lot since I was a kid. This will help with context further in the video. So, without further ado, let's get on with this shit show. Ren is a grown-ass adult who is popular in close-knit circles within the Twitter Yume shipping community, in which I met him in late 2024 here. We bonded over games like Mouthwashing, which is the psychological horror game released by Wrong Organ that took this media by storm around the time we met. I hate saying this word, I hate Yume shipping, but I'll just say self-ship from now on. He self-shipped with Anya while I did with Curly. Immediately did I realize this guy was a creep when he started sending me, let's just say, adult graphic art. Unfortunately, being a victim of long-term sexual assault and grooming, I didn't see a problem with this. I thought it was just a teenage boy locker room-esque talk, but it was far from that. We bonded over mouthwashing, but talking to him made me want to wash my eyes out instead of washing my mouth. That was a terrible pun. He would always talk about very explicit things, especially when you're 20 years old and you're talking to a 15-year-old. By the way, I just had turned 15 by then. As I would state, he would always send me these really sexual and sexually charged messages and images. From the longest I could remember, he would always send me stuff relating to mouthwashing or venture bros, but every now and then he'd send me his own art, in which this is where I get to the point of him allowing me on his NSFW Twitter account, which he himself posted pictures of himself in real life, and posted his own drawings. Which, by the way, I was 15, and his bio clearly stated minors do not interact or something like that. Yay, now we're at the part of the video where I talk about the things that he would say to me, the very disgusting and vulgar things you should not be talking with a minor about. He would always talk so sexually about his self-ships and also himself. From the longest I would remember, he would talk about wanting, relations with Anya for mouthwashing. And Jimmy, which is the whole perpetrator of the entire game, which is, if you know anything about mouthwashing, you'll know that's probably, a little controversial. But he would also ship a lot of characters as well. He was a self-proclaimed pro-shipper, which I should have ran, but I just had turned 15, and I, used to surround myself with those people. I'm not defending his actions, but, he would constantly ship really inappropriate dynamics like Daisuke and Swansea, which, if it isn't shown, it's very much a parental father-son dynamic, which is really weird, which also that nothing states explicitly that it is, biological, but it's still weird. He would also ship Jimmy and Curly, which is, the perpetrator and the disabled man. Let me also preface this by saying that I didn't ship myself with, post-crash Curly, I shipped myself with pre-crash, which, very morally ambiguous, but, I can't say much because he shipped himself with Jimmy. But we're getting sidetracked. What I meant to say is that he would always talk so sexually about these characters and himself to me, and it made me very uncomfortable. I didn't really want to be involved in this conversation, but unfortunately I, brought myself to, because I didn't want to lose a friend. He made it out to seem like he could be a father figure to me, and that he could be like a big brother figure or whatever, because I would always vent to him about not having friends. This is also a part I should probably mention, that he made it out to seem like I could go to him over everything, but then he treated me venting like a relatable situation where he could come in and chime in with his own little parts, which, one, I think it's really weird. If you're an adult, you should not be talking and venting to a minor, because that's not their place to comfort you. And two, it's just in general, you're talking creepily to a minor. I would always open up about my own sexual trauma and traumas in general, and he thought it was like a common ground to share his information with, which I was uncomfortable with, and it was very triggering. I didn't want anything to do with it. He could have easily told me that he didn't want me to vent to him. He could have been the higher ground and told me, hey, look, you're a minor and I don't want to talk to you, and moved on. But the thing is, he didn't. And I had no place to say I didn't want him to be my friend because I was scared of losing friends. By the way, I was having no friends at the time. I had no friends, and I'm going to use her as an example. My friend Barbie, she left the internet for a while, and she was like a motherly figure to me, which I met her when she was like 16, so before anybody says any creepy shit, you know. I met Barbie, and I treated her like a motherly figure. Like, I never talked sexually, I never, you know, I wouldn't ever open up, and we wouldn't open up about anything to each other that was, like, sexually charged. Which, you may be wondering, why am I bringing her up? I use her as a responsibility point. She is an adult who knows how to interact with minors, and, you know, does not share vents as common ground, does not overly share sexual situations and opinions, and this and that. Which, Barbie, if you're seeing this, I apologize for bringing you up. Also, to the viewers, this is a very scrambled video because I wrote like half a script, and I decided that I would go off of bullet points. But you don't need a script. All you need to understand is this guy is a fucking deviant. I have provided proof, and I'll also link the document in the the description. No more jibber jabber, let me talk about something else. He would constantly promote self-harm and drug use, which I briefly mentioned this, but I want this to be like a bullet point right here. He would always talk to me about how badly he wanted to hurt himself, which at the time I was already dealing with a lot of self-harm problems. And he'd always go to me like, hey, I want to cut myself or I relapsed, and I'm always going to be here for my friends. I don't care how old you are, you can always vent to me. But I'm just speaking for the general population of minors. If you are an adult, don't vent to minors. We already deal with the overwhelming emotions that we deal with now. I don't think I should be a monument of all your issues. Now, he would also talk a lot about weed and alcohol, which obviously that's gonna be a topic teenagers are gonna talk about, but, you know, as a minor, you know, I'm really subjected to a lot of that, and it's very convincing to want to do that stuff. And at the time, I already was dealing with a lot of substance abuse problems, and it didn't help that whenever I would go to him to vent, he would kind of push it off to the side and talk whatever he wanted to talk about. Which also kind of leads back to the previous point I made about how he treated vents as like a common ground for some reason. Now I think it's time to talk about how he knew that I was being groomed at the time by two different grown men, adult men by the way, and he did nothing. He used that as a share point as well. I felt like I could confide with him with all the problems that I was dealing with at the time, but he used this as a bullet point to talk about his own traumatic events, which is terrible. I was already dealing with a lot. I'm not gonna go into what happened about the two, you know, people grooming me, because this video is about this guy, which is also a groomer, who groomed me. Oh, that was a tongue twister and made no sense, but just pretend that you understand, because I don't feel like editing that out. He made it feel like I could be comfortable around him. I even invited him to my personal Discord server, which has a lot of minors, including my minor sister, which, I'm not gonna say her name, but she is currently 13. And also a lot of minor friends. The only adult there was Barbie, which, shout out to you again. She's very responsible, and took no shit when I told her that that was happening. Immediately banned him from all the servers that we shared, and immediately jumped to making a call-out post and document, which I will link her document down below because it's actually, I like it, it's nice. I also want to mention, which I already did mention, but I want to preface this better. He was a pro-shipper, a self-admitted pro-shipper. He was a self-admitted sexual assault lover. I feel bad for sugarcoating these things and not being able to say the words, but I don't want my video fucking struck down, but he was very creepy around my minor friends, which I should have brought up earlier. He would also send really suggestive art to my other minor friend, who is, I think, currently 16, he would, like, talk sexually to this person as well. And God knows what else, children he's been talking sexual to. And I hope that if I end up posting this, that if anybody has that experience with this person, that they can come forward. Because I don't want you to feel scared of being around this person. Unfortunately, that was not the only person. There was also my other friends, which I'm not naming any of these friends for their own privacy, other than Barbie. She's an adult and she makes her own videos. But, yeah. Oh, this should be fun. I've been waiting all video for this, which is not really serious, but it's still creepy, and it's fun to make fun of. He had a feederism fetish. He also was very, very creepy about black women, especially fat black women. He's said the N-word before, and he calls himself light-skinned. He also would write really, really terrible raps, which, if I could find them, I'll show them on screen. But he was so infatuated with fat black women, and he still very much is. Like, I scrolled through his I scrolled through his Twitter, and I could see a bunch of stuff about black women or fat people. Especially the fact he would talk to me and Barbie about it. Probably other minors. Unfortunately, I don't know the other half, so I don't know if anybody else is currently being groomed. He would always talk to me about how much he loved fat black people. He would always talk about, like, oh, I want to be squished in between these people's thighs or, like, stomach, or... He'd also really enjoy drawing mouth-washing fat fetish art. He'd always draw either Jimmy or Anya really fat. And he has this headcanon that Anya is a fat black woman. And, like, I don't care about headcanon and characters being POC, but I'm pretty sure he also drew Jimmy as a fat black man, too. I forgot to mention that he would always talk about wanting Anya to assault him, which, did we completely forget what the meaning of that game was? To take responsibility. Anya was a victim, and you want a victim to assault you. You're disgusting and deplorable, and you should get off the internet. This is going to be a very hard topic to touch upon, but this needs to be said. He posted child porn of me. He solicited those images from me. He was asking, and then posted them to use against me. His defense was something about, you shouldn't be a minor sending adult images, but you were asking from them. And in the screenshot that I have, which obviously I'm not showing the image, he was asking for them. He was being defended by another person, which this is now chapter 2. This person is Ren's 19-year-old friend, or about to turn 20. Their name is Crow, which I'm not going to read out their other names, because I have a shit ton of names. They say that they're a Charlie Emily IRL, which is a little girl from fucking FNAF. And they defended Ren. They even reposted and quote-tweeted the pictures of my breasts, basically. From what I've seen from scrolling through their whole entire Twitter, they've been reposting a lot of stuff about pro-shipping and how pro-shipping is okay. Which is fucking weird. Obviously, I should have expected that from Ren's friend, defending pedophilia and, quote, retweeting and retweeting, child porn. But still, this person is defending Ren. And defending somebody who hurt me. I have also, in these screenshots, confronted them about being friends with him. I said, hey man, I tried to unfollow you. You're defending my groomer publicly. I'm sorry. They said, who? I said, Ren. I have proof if you need be, but I need you to believe me. This user spent a few minutes typing before, reposting terrible shit about me. Then I said, defending a pedophile, and that same person I just posted child porn on me. Go fuck yourself. This person, Crow, was also following me. We've had previous interactions before, knowing I was 15, which was in my Twitter bio. Unfortunately, I don't have screenshots of my Twitter bio because I don't think anybody would be keeping track of that. But it was, and take my word for it. I can even get accounts if you sure wanted it, but... The worst part is, this person also messaged me a few months prior about a minor friend who was being stalked and harassed and groomed by an adult. And was like, what the fuck? That's weird, it's gross, it's weird. And now you're defending somebody who is just as equally as weird. But to tie everything together, Ren has a weird following of people who are willing to defend him. He has a lot of really older friends. He has younger friends, he has minors following him, he follows minors, and he's in spaces that minors are. And I don't think, as a minor myself, that he should be around any of these people and should be following any of these people, let alone being on the fucking internet. And to Ren, if you're watching this, I'm not even going to be censoring myself. You're a fucking pedophile. You need to be locked up. You need to be locked in a mental institution. Hell, go to jail. You are disgusting, and you wiggled your way into my life. You followed me. You're disgusting, and all of your friends are disgusting too. You refuse to take accountability and blame it on your self-diagnosed autism and BPD. I want you to know this. I'm both autistic and I have borderline personality disorder. And I'm going to take accountability for everything that I have said that was rude or might have put myself in a victim's shoes, because I am the victim. Nowhere should I use my mental illness as an excuse. You're using this as an excuse to groom fucking children. This is not how you were raised. I don't even think you should be allowed to go outside. I think you should never see the light of day again. Because what you have done to me has freaked me out and has scarred me. Because I don't ever want to go on Twitter anymore, which obviously, a minor shouldn't be on Twitter. But after seeing that you posted child porn of me, not only is that classified as revenge porn, but that's fucking child porn. Be glad that I hadn't done some petty shit like that too. And hell, it wasn't even petty, you were trying to get me exposed to more fucking pedophiles. Because a good majority of the people that you're following and who follow you are also pro-shipper pedophiles. You're a disgusting human being, and I don't even want to see you as a human being. You're beyond human, you're inhuman, you're a fucking subhuman breed of disgust. I didn't want to know about your sex life. I didn't want to know about anything that you wanted. And now, from your favorite game, you should take fucking responsibility. Instead of running off, take responsibility, Ren. Because you are disgusting. You have hurt so many people. Take responsibility. And, that's about it. I'm sorry for, making this video so quick and I talk so fast and kind of grazing over different things. It's just that I've never really made this video before. Or this kind of video, I'm sorry. I also have a lot of mistakes in this video that I'm probably not going to edit out because it'll take too long and I'm lazy. But, yeah. And I'm also sorry for getting a little snappy at the end. I'm just, don't like talking about that motherfucker, but thank you for watching, and, subscribe, because I know that I'll have more videos like this in the near future. Shout out to Barbie, thank you for being a responsible adult and not taking advantage of children. And your best bet is to block and not interact with this person. Don't harass him, just block him. And report him to the police while you're at it. If you see any minor or any child that he's talking to, report this to the police. It's not worth harassing him because it's just gonna come all back to us and the victims. Just block him. I do not condone any harassment that came from this video. Please don't harass anybody that was mentioned in this video. Yeah. I hope everybody has a good day, good night, good whatever. And stay safe, stay healthy, and don't interact with people like this on the internet. Goodbye.
I'm not a pedophile. I'm not a pedophile. I was just being nice to the 15-year-old.